9 experienced hikers, a remote Soviet mountain, a tent ripped open from the inside. And when rescuers finally found the bodies weeks later, some were barefoot in the snow. Some had bones crushed like glass. One was missing her tongue. No signs of a struggle. No footprints from another group. No clear explanation. For more than 60 years, the Soviet Union sealed the files and labeled the cause of death with a phrase so vague it almost felt like a warning. An unknown, compelling force. Tonight, we are opening that file. Because hidden inside declassified reports, witness testimonies, and modern forensic analysis, a disturbing picture begins to form. One that suggests the hikers may have encountered something far more terrifying than getting lost in the snow. Welcome to Contradox Studio. Stories that bend reality. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident. January 1959. 9 young hikers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute set out on what should have been a routine winter expedition into the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. Their leader was Igor Dyatlov. These were not reckless amateurs. They were the kind of people who trained for danger. Their destination was a mountain known as Kholat Syakhl. In the language of the local Mansi people, it means Dead Mountain. The group left civilization behind and began skiing north into the harshest winter terrain on Earth. Temperatures dropped to minus 30 degrees Celsius. Wind howled across the ridges, but everything seemed normal. The hikers laughed. They wrote in their journals. They took photographs. Nothing in their notes suggested fear. Until the night of February 1st, 1959. Because that night, something happened on the mountain. Something so terrifying that 9 trained hikers made a decision that defies all logic. When the hikers failed to return on schedule, search teams were eventually sent into the mountains. What they found first was the tent. It was half buried in snow, collapsed. But what investigators noticed next sent a chill through the entire rescue team. The tent had been cut open. From the inside, not unzipped, slashed open. It looked like the hikers had panicked and escaped the fastest way possible, even if that meant destroying their only shelter. Because outside the tent, investigators found footprints, 9 sets, walking calmly down the slope into the forest. Some barefoot, some wearing only socks, in temperatures cold enough to freeze exposed skin in minutes. Their boots were still in the tent, their coats, their supplies, even their food. Something inside that tent scared them so badly. They chose the open wilderness instead. About a mile away, under a tall cedar tree, searchers found the first 2 bodies. Both were barefoot, both wearing only thin underwear. Their hands were torn and burned. Evidence suggested they had desperately tried to climb the tree, as if trying to see something in the distance, or escape something on the ground. Nearby was a small fire, weak, temporary, like someone trying to survive the impossible. 3 more bodies were discovered between the forest and the tent. They collapsed one by one in the snow, frozen. But when the remaining 4 hikers were finally found weeks later, buried deep under snow in a nearby ravine, the mystery took a terrifying turn. Because their injuries did not look like hypothermia. They looked like something else, entirely. When the final 4 bodies were recovered, Doctors struggled to explain what they were seeing. One victim had a crushed skull. 2 had massive chest fractures. Another had severe internal injuries that doctors compared to a high-speed car crash. But here is the disturbing part. There were no external wounds. No bruises matching a fight. No broken skin. Just catastrophic damage inside the body, as if an enormous force had compressed them, without leaving visible marks. One of the female hikers was also missing her tongue, and part of her lips. But there was another strange detail, something found not on the bodies, but on their clothing. Radiation, traces of it, enough to raise serious questions. Radiation does not appear naturally on clothing. Someone, or something, had to put it there. Several witnesses claimed they saw strange glowing orange spheres in the sky on the night of the incident, moving silently above the mountains. So in May 1959, the case was abruptly closed, with the now infamous statement, "The hikers died due to an unknown compelling force." No further explanation. Files sealed. End of investigation. Decades later, after the fall of the Soviet Union, researchers reopened the case. New avalanche simulations suggested the tent may have partially collapsed. But critics argue the theory still leaves unanswered questions. Why were the footprints calm and orderly? Why were some injuries so extreme? Why was radiation present? And why did multiple witnesses report glowing lights in the sky? Military weapon tests, secret Soviet experiments, even encounters with something not entirely human. The mountain has kept its secret for 65 years, but somewhere in those sealed Soviet files, the answer is still waiting to be found. Subscribe, because next week, we open another file